Welcome everybody back here at Veil of Sound. The very, very, very close followers of our page might have seen something a few weeks ago. And I'm very happy that we now get to clue it all up completely officially. Veil of Sound now goes presenting. And I'm very, very, very happy that we have one of my favorite German post-rock bands to be the first tour that we present. So I'm very happy to have two guys from BRUECKEN here on the show. Guys, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us.
And maybe before our English, American, other global audience asks, well, now we know the band's name, but what do they do? Maybe you can say something shortly what you do in the band.
You want to start?
Yeah, okay. My name is Torge. I'm the guitar player of BRUECKEN. And also with the new album handling some vocal duties, but I think we'll probably get to that. So nice to be here.
Yes. My name is Florian and I'm playing the drums, and that's it. Only the drums.
Only, he says.
It's already kind of challenging sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for some things, yes. And as usual here on the Veil of Sound interviews, the first thing that we always do is the plug of the day. So you can plug a band, a project that you like and that you think that should get a little bit more of an audience. I will start so that you have a moment to think. And I want to stay in Germany. I want to stay post-rock, and therefore my plug of the day is Glasgow Coma Scale.
Nice.
Nice one.
Nice. Nice. So I would take for the plug of the day another band that we shared the stage with some times ago, and they released a great album last year, and it's Casino Garden, a shoegaze band from Wuppertal. I guess they deserve definitely more recognition. They're really great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm also gonna go with the band we played live with, and it's gonna be a soon ago. I kind of fell in love with their music when I saw them live, and I just saw that they are up to new stuff, and I'm really stoked to see what they're doing right now.
Always interesting. So guys, first of all, thanks for letting us present the tour. And second of all, the major reason why we do this interview is your new record, which will be out in a couple of weeks or a couple of days, whenever people hear that, February 27th. Years That Answer. I'm not sure if it's have you always released through Moment of Collapse, or has there been a label in between? I'm not sure, but definitely this one comes out through Moment of Collapse. And I liked the fact that you chose a quote by Zora Neale Hurston for the title, because Miss Hurston once said, well, there are years that ask, and then there are years that answer. We'll come to her importance, and we'll also come to why you chose that. But something that I asked myself is, well, are these guys just real optimists, or do they think that optimism is a necessity at the moment?
That's a tough question to start, but
I never asked. This will be like afternoon tea.
Yeah, but
Target, you go on.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a bit of both. Of course, we're all more we tend to be optimistic people and hopeful people, and we always felt like our music also always retains this element of hopefulness. But with the title and the quote, I think your second take was actually the thing that draw us to this title, that it's a message of endurance, of the necessity to believe in answers that will be given even if they are not visible right now. Because of course, all optimism aside, if you look at the world and the news at the moment, it's a tough time for optimists.
Yeah. Gestapo running around America.
Yeah.
The world looking away at a humanitarian crisis in Sudan, and we haven't even started about all the real wars. Yeah, definitely. For everybody who are,
it definitely got even worse since. So I mean, it's when we came up with this title and everything. It's like what was it? Over a year ago, I think, something like that, and it definitely hasn't gotten any better.
No, unfortunately not. For everybody who asks, we record this exactly a month before the release, January 27th. Just a coincidence. Don't believe in any kind of conspiracy theory there. But so you would also, Florian, say that this record, in a way, and also the title of a record, is your kind of statement for our times?
Yeah, I mean, the whole quote is also that there's years that ask questions and years that answers, and some like so for us we were saying like, yes, there are years that ask more questions and there are years that leave questions unasked. So yeah, we wanted to kind of build on this quote, and we don't really want to appropriate the context, you know, like, because she, like, Zora Neale Hurston was a really important activist, and it's also like we are not in this, like, we don't really we are all like really privileged, and we kind of can build up on this, but still, like, some years are really tough on us, and I think we've had some really struggleful years in the past. So yeah.
Maybe for most non-American viewers, we have to pull that up a little bit. Zora Neale Hurston was an activist, a writer, a filmmaker. She collected a lot of things on folklore. She wrote ethnographies, which I think is very interesting for the time when she wrote them. She was born in 1891 and she died in 1960, so roughly 70 years of lifetime. And as many can already guess, Zora Neale Hurston was African American. So, and especially at that time, of course, I totally support what Florian just said. We cannot put ourselves in her place. However, I mean, like, there are other positive statements about our times and positive statements about the world you live in. Something like, you can be part of a problem or you can be part of a solution. But you chose Zora Neale Hurston. That choice in itself, isn't that also some kind of statement?
I guess. Of course.
Subconscious or conscious?
I think we really like the phrase in itself as well. Like a member of our band, he came with this idea and he read the book and he really liked what he read there, and also like I think it resonated with all of us when he started saying it. So we were thinking, yeah, that's actually a really good title for an album, especially because we don't have a lot of lyrics.
So yeah, and I think
so have something.
So it's not really like a subconscious, but it was like really the starting point was the quote, and like the strength we felt in these words, and the resonance we all got from it. And then we started researching and getting more into the story, who said it, who wrote it, and that was like a strengthening factor to say, yeah, that's something that works for us. That's something that works for the statement that we always intended for Brüecken to have. So it was not conscious to say like we want a quote by this author and let's look for a quote, but it wasn't also like subconscious, like yeah, whoever wrote it, we don't give a damn. So it was definitely part of the process.
That also goes very well with your band in itself. You've just said that, you know, like, you are a bunch of optimists, whether by heart or out of necessity. And I think that also already shows in your band name itself. Maybe for all the non-Germans, Brücken, bridges. You are trying to build bridges, right? Between different sounds, different scenes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we are kind of, everyone is really interested about politics in our band, and we always like in pause, we always talk about political events, and also like like this is not only about being optimistic, but also about like doing or trying to change a bit. And when we have, for example, we have when we do like a record release show, we try to also do something with like NGOs, like Seebrücke, which is a really famous German NGO trying to help people on the ocean who try to come by boat. And so we kind of not only like trying to be optimistic, but also like to change maybe a bit, also with our really limited space we have. And
yeah, I think we all always agreed on that. Being in a band means taking a political stance and using the stage and attention that you're granted to use it for something. So I think nobody can do everything, and nobody can do, there's always more you can do, but I think we all feel like it's the right thing to at least do something or try to do something.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like a lot of bands nowadays say like, oh, we're apolitical. There is nothing like being apolitical in this day and age. But then, please excuse my question, but if you are a political band, how come that you only so seldom incorporated lyrics or vocals into your sound? Because I mean, like, if you have a message to convey, why not state it clearly?
Yeah, that's a good question, which is like a bit complicated to answer. It's all like everything with bands. It's like a story of like the history of the band and how it all evolved. So basically, we started with an EP which had a singer. And when that EP was released and we were thinking about writing new songs, in a very unfortunate event, our singer died. And so the decision to continue with BRUECKEN, to do another album, was definitely part of a process of coping with that and finding a way to retain some energy of this project that he founded, but also, do something with it. And within that state of mind, it felt really like the right move to leave some blank space to make it instrumental. And at the same time, we noticed, like, with all the changes that we've been going through and the songs we've written, that they also really work instrumentally and work without lyrics. So we kept it kind of, and then we glided into this post-rock niche and scene and with everything. And that's when we became an instrumental band. And so it never was like the decision to say like, yeah, we're a political band, but we don't need lyrics. It was more like, okay, that's just the way we go. But if we do music for the sake of music, of course, because music is something great for us. But like, it's always this combination. It's not like we don't do music to be political, but we think that if you have a stage, you should use it.
Yeah, and it's the way that, I mean, like, the benefit of being an instrumental band is that you can be understood everywhere and anywhere, which is, of course, also a huge benefactor. As you already mentioned, that there was this lineup change, for lack of a better word, but there was a change of a lineup between your self-titled EP and Schall und Raum. Lineup changes seem to be something normal for BRUECKEN, because you once again have a lineup change, but maybe this one is a little better because it's not a subtraction, but it's only addition. Florian, maybe you can clue it up. Who is the fifth member of BRUECKEN by
now? So the fifth member is Bernd, and we actually know him from a gig together we played when he was playing in Mammoth. And yeah, so he was playing bass, the bass guitar in Mammoth, but I think we just had some ideas with like also at Schall und Raum there were some background synthesizers and sorry?
Innere Unruhen, nicht Schall.
Innere Unruhen, yeah. And so we kind of wanted to develop, like to continue with this idea and to maybe become a bit more fluent with this synthesizer and also to play it live. And so yeah, that was a really like you would say a no-brainer for us to collect to come together and to make music together. And ever since it works out really well. We played some shows together. We are like yeah, it's easy to say now 5 pieces. I think it makes us a bit more, yeah, maybe how to say it. I think some people when they listen to our music, like the music without band before this recent album, some people were saying, "Oh, maybe there's something missing." I don't know. I for me personally, I don't think so. But a lot of people think about the vocals are missing, and also with the synthesizer, it has a lot more context to it. Like it feels just a bit more full to me. Like yeah.
Yeah, it rounds off certain things, right?
Yes, rounds off.
Our readers might know Bernd from one of his other projects that we featured heavily and justifiedly here on the Veil of Sound, Heimlich Manöver. So, you might know him from that. And I think I
forgot to mention that we actually played with Heimlich Manöver as well, and that's why also that's maybe
how he qualified himself as the key person.
Yes.
Yeah. We first have to see if you can really hit those keys.
Yeah.
And I also looked for a good example of where we hear his input maybe clearest. And I noticed that the intro to Chronostasis, that sounds like a lot of synth stuff. That sounds like a lot of like vast open spaces that are filled by his synth, right?
Yeah, that's actually like lots of production stuff that Bernd and I, like when we started recording, we we threw stuff together and tried different stuff. And it's more like, I think less synth, more soundscaping. So it's more like different samples treated very heavily. So for example, I think we got some piece of my bicycle down in the cellar and put it in there, and then there's a distorted whale song and doors that we recorded, and it's all layered.
Free Willy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's a very interesting and very cool intro because it is very atmospherical. I think like 80 seconds or so. Really cool. And that song in and of itself also shows very well how you generally like write music, but also how I think there is this slight subtle change between Innere Unruhen and Years That Answer. I would say that with this record, you became even a little more diverse, a little bit shiftier. Would you agree with that? That maybe there are a few more changes, a few more little odd bits here and there?
Yes, I mean, we are 5 people now. It makes sense that it's a bit more diverse now. And also, I think we had much more time on this album than the other one. And not in the studio, but beforehand. The situation before Innere Unruhen was, for many bands, really bad, and for us as well. We tried to record an album we didn't really play in the room together, like not many times, or not some songs not really together. And so yeah, I think this is just a bit more rehearsing together, like really working on certain parts of the songs. And yeah,
and it's also just simply more time, right?
More what, sir?
More time between, I think there's more time between Innere Unruhen and Years That Answer than between Schall und Raum and Innere Unruhen.
Yeah, we took the liberty to have a year or 2 years extra, because a lot changed with our band, like also a lot of people moving and going even more long distance than even before. So we had to attune for that, and I think we found a great way to make it work. But that was of course then also the point where we said, okay, but we don't want to rush it. We always felt like our band needs certain goals, so we definitely were sure we're not like take it slow, but we're and see if an album comes up. It was always clear we want to do another album, but it was clear that we don't want to put it out like 2 years or something. But put it there when it's there.
So how do I have to envision your songwriting process then? If you say that people moved away, you had to find a new setup, something like that. How does writing for BRUECKEN work?
It's really hard to put it in a nutshell, but I think there's lots of different elements to it. But maybe Flo.
I feel like it always starts with a jam. Somehow we just like, we are tired of playing this one song or whatever, and then we just need some kind of free our heads, and we just start jamming. And I think Jens, he's playing the bass guitar. He's always like, oh, we should like keep on doing this riff, or like we should do something out of this, because he's always really enthusiastic about like certain parts. And yeah, so we just remember this, and we're trying to build up on this.
Yeah, and I feel like so like the basis is always a jam, and then it goes into trying to structure the ideas that came up in these jams, and maybe then there's a demo or something that somebody sends around, and that we get into the for the rehearsal room for the next time, and then we work on that, and then it's down to the finer details, which we do. So for the demoing for Years That Answer, we did lots of files sending around, listening to it, feedbacking each other. So it's a weird combination of like remote songwriting and everybody recording on their own, but also like the togetherness in the room, and the moment itself is really, really important.
So how often do you get together, all 5 of you?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, not enough. Like we used to meet every week, and since like Torge already mentioned that we moved away, like far apart from each other, so we meet regularly through like Zoom, kind of Zoom, or like video calls, and I think in the room like once every 2 months probably. I think this is.
So that was our aim, basically, like all 6 to 8 weeks. And like in the last year, it's been really because we were so much focused on the production, and every weekend that was open was then more like going to the studio in Berlin, doing the drum demos, doing guitar demos. So it's been quite a while since we really been all together in the room. So last year it was like not so much rehearsal time.
But you will have to rehearse a little bit more, because
we started right now, so we already had our first weekend in January, and it's going right now. It's like more down to all 3 weeks.
I wanted to say, because as I said at the beginning, there is an upcoming tour, a few gigs late in February, but then I think it's the 3rd week of March when you really get going, and when you get on the road for 9 days, 10 days, something like that.
9 days.
Yeah. And you are also not limiting yourself to Germany anymore. Now, the gentlemen are also going to, I think, Vienna and Prague. Is that correct?
Yeah,
so you're expanding into continental Europe. Is that something that also gets you moving when you see like, okay, we started as a band here from northern Germany, from, I don't want to say a little town, but come on, let's be honest, Oldenburg is not like the biggest thing.
Now you're right about it.
Yeah. And then I mean, like, all of a sudden you are playing in not only the big German cities, but you're requested to play outside. That surely is a good motivation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't our goal to like become famous or whatever. We are not famous, and we still really have to work for every gig and everything. And it's not like people ask us to come here, to go
Mhm.
there, and we are not there yet.
But has
And
it
I'm not
become
sure if we.
easier?
I think so, definitely. So, like, if I recall, like the previous tours, they were always like we announced our tours or our dates always with some unknown dates or some TBAs or
Yeah.
asking for help, and
Mhm.
it's definitely a huge push and a motivation to feel now like, okay, we got this 9 day thing glued together quite well. That feels like a next step and feels great.
Yeah. We are very proud to be along the way of that.
Yeah,
But
thank
you've
you so
already
much for that.
no. We have to thank you, definitely. Um, you've already mentioned that you are now living further apart. So what is the biggest difference? Who is the one that lives farthest away?
That's gonna be me. I live in Berlin, and Berlin to Oldenburg is like
7 hours?
solid. Nah, I mean by car it's 5, I think, and with the
Okay,
train,
pedal to
it's
the
really
metal.
bad to go there by train actually. But yeah, it's long. It's a long way, and it doesn't make things easier for us.
Florian, was that then also the reason why you recorded drums in Berlin with Jan Oberg?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons. Exactly.
And now, because I didn't get that quite well from the press release, where were the other parts? Where were the guitars recorded? Where was Jens' bass recorded? Also in Berlin or somewhere else?
We did all the tracking by ourselves. So the bass was recorded in the rehearsal room in Oldenburg. For the guitars, we met here in my home studio here in Göttingen. Where
Which
we
is
did the
also for all the non-Germans, it's also not close. So it's also another 3 hours, I think, if I remember correctly.
yeah, roundabout.
Yeah.
And so yeah, all over the place. And then we went to Tonmeisterei in Oldenburg to do like a reamp of all the signals we recorded our own, so that there were like not only digital but some real amps and some expertly crafted sounds, because Role, who owns or who works Tonmeisterei, is like a real legend. It was really fun to work with him. So yeah, also this, like, it was really a split process of lots of locations, lots of small events, bringing it all together.
But that was not the end of that process, because so we have Berlin, we have Oldenburg, we have Göttingen. But then you took the baby even further and had it mixed in Sweden.
Mastered.
Mastered. But I would like you to say who did it and how it came to happen that he did it. Because otherwise I'm too much of a fanboy again.
Yeah. So yeah, when the mastering was done by Magnus Lindberg of Cult of Luna, and like lots of other great processes that he did, like the mastering for, or records he did the mastering for, and yeah, just like same as you, like we're huge fanboys, and really we're really excited about his work. Knew his work, of course, inside out. Knew like other guys who worked with him before, like the guys from Italy, formerly known as Ria, now Ropes Inside a Hole. They mastered their second. We toured Schall und Raum, our first tour with them, and they did their second album with him, and were really really convinced how easy to work with and how like professional it was with him. So it was definitely on our list to have like to have him work on one of our albums, and it's really like yeah, kind of a dream come true. That it was really that he was free and was down to do it, and I think we benefited a lot from his expertise.
Yeah. So, but then you can actually really say like, okay, this is a really international record, and I'm like, it always sounds strange when people talk about post rock and say like, okay, you can hear that this is a band that is taking new steps, that is progressing, and that is in a way sounding more and more international. I would definitely say so. Also, because when listening to some of the tracks, um, I really understood what you wanted to do, because you say like, okay, we want to have that little We want to be that little silver line on the horizon, that little bit of hope that people need in our times. And there are quite a few guitar lines on the record which sound very bright, very also floating, and in some ways also very, very hollow. And it reminded me a lot of one of my favorite all-time bands. I'm not sure if it was an inspiration to you, but it sounded a little bit like Dredge from Los Gatos. Because they also have a lot of those uplifting, open guitar parts. But let's ask it this way. Is there a band where you, or an artist where you say like, okay, that is a real inspiration on our sound, on our writing, on our riffs and whatever?
I think it's really hard to nail it down to one. There's so
yeah,
much.
You can also name 5. That doesn't matter, but just a few.
So I think when we went into the production, one record we all could agree on is probably Shiloh at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Snake Around the Sun is something that we all listened to a lot on our past tours and weekenders, and that we all like felt really impressed by. So that's definitely on the list. Of course, I like, because we mentioned the name already, like also, of course, also if it's not really like one-to-one with our music, like Cult of Luna is definitely something that we all appreciate. And then I think it's also already starts to fan out. Like everyone in the band who you ask would name 3 different artists now for the 5 remaining. So
okay, Florian, you have to give us 2 drummers.
2 drummers.
Yeah, because he mentioned two bands. No.
Yeah. Like Toggo already said, I'm totally down with Shiloh. I'm really, the drum sound on this.
No repetition.
Is really, really good.
Something new.
No, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with I like Wolfred. The sound of Wolfred. It's really nice. It's an Estonian band, and also an inspiration to the album. You mean?
Generally, for you as a drummer.
Generally, me as a drummer. I'm a bit of the metal guy background, so I think like Sleep Token these days is really, really. I really like to listen to them. The drummer is amazing, and overall, I think it's a good band. Yeah,
there is no denying that.
Yeah.
Although I think that those black-facing discussions about Sleep Token are like, totally out of context.
That's right. Yeah.
It's funny, that is the first band that you mentioned, but I think that we had not had on the Veil of Sound. If you want to find out a little bit more about Ropes Inside a Hole, if you want to find out more about the recent Cult of Luna records, we had interviews with Shiloh, we did premieres for Wolfred. Yeah, I like that. It's good. So we can pluck a lot of stuff here. I would like to talk about the record title. Years That Answer, we already had that, but correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first English record title, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And something that is not possible in this, or is not given with this title, is your other record titles were always a little ambiguous. And of course, it only works in German because Schall and Raum is, it sounds a little bit like a German saying that we have Schall and Rauch, which is like sound and smoke. You turned it into sound and room, or innere Unruhen, which is not ambiguous. It can be both, but usually Unruhen is something that is something on the outside. Although, of course, everybody can have inner tumults. Let's put it like that. Is that something that, that you give a lot of, I mean, like you've already said that for Years That Answer, you gave a lot of thought to that. But is that something that you generally do, that you like really think hard about record title, song title, something like that?
Yeah, it's always like a kind of a process to nail that down.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So there's lots of talking about it.
And then I have to ask, who in the band is the guy who likes the antiquity? Because all of a sudden we have track titles like Periapsis, Chronostasis, So who's the guy who likes Old Greek and Latin?
Oh, that's
Yeah, we have a doctor of philosophy in our band, and that might give you a hint already.
But in his defense, I think both of these Latin titles were my suggestions. I think that's like my my feeling for titles.
So,
I think he
now you
always
also
went a
have to
different.
clue it up. Who's the old guy? Who's like the guy who cannot order a pizza in Italy but can quote Horaz? Who's the doctor of philosophy?
That's like Dave, our other guitar player. He's definitely But so he definitely knows how to frame a discussion into. Also, it's really helpful to really get like. I always feel like we're it's a hard process and it takes some time, and sometimes you're also a little bit like, oh man, it's only a title, but after all, I always feel we always profited from taking this time, because like at the end we always have like the titles that we all feel comfortable with and that we feel say something.
I think that is important. I think a lot of bands underestimate the importance of titles, and even if it's only a starting point for a discussion. But apart from making that joke, I would like to ask, because we have talked about years that ask questions, years that answer questions. You have a semi-title track, I would say, because the second track is called Questions We Raise. Is that the one that goes closest with the record title?
Yeah, definitely. It was like so I think it's important to say that like we definitely don't want this to be seen as like a concept album or something. It's like still there's an idea with everything, but like the tracks should work independently, and also the titles work independently.
Yeah.
But with that one, it definitely felt like we came up with the emotional moment for that song, and in talking about it, what it means to us and what it is about, and it felt really tied to the whole album quote idea that was floating around at that time. So the title is definitely attributed to that.
Is that also the reason why it's the first single?
I can't even recall which decision was first, if it was like the decision to have it as a single, or was it if it was the title. I mean, we were quite convinced that this song was the single really early on.
I think it's more about the song, not about the title.
Totally fine. Don't misunderstand me. I totally like that decision. And I mean, like, questions we raise also demand answers we give, or statements for our time. And so I would like both of you to think for a moment about which kind of statement from a band, which kind of a song quote fits best to the times that we live in right now, that maybe gives some answer, that maybe gives some hope. While I was sitting here and preparing this, I was also scrolling a little bit, and I once again saw one of the posts by the orangutan in the White House, and by his little doggy, J.D. Vance. And I came up with one, so I'll give it to you. So while you are thinking, and I would like to quote probably my favorite hardcore band of all time. I would like to quote Boy Sets Fire. And for everybody who knows this, please write it in the comments, because I think it's one of the best quotes ever, at least for our times. And I will not sing it because I'm not as good as Nat. So, but and you will burn in hell for every one you killed, for every drop of life you ever fucking spilled. I think that is the quote that I would like to scream, and a lot of moments at this time. Torge, Would you have a maybe more positive one than I do?
Oh, that's a really hard question.
I know.
Because I gotta admit, like I'm definitely not a lyrics guy.
Okay.
Same goes for me.
It's really hard for me to memorize lyrics, or it's always like, and it's really hard to go after your powerful quote that I really would like 100% subscribe at the moment. So let me think a moment more. Maybe Flo has already something lined up.
I try to tend to listen to the drums and not really to the lyrics, and so
be careful. There are a lot of good drummers who are singers as well. So
yeah, true that. No, but still, I cannot tell you one right now. I'm sorry. Not like a good quote. I'm just, like sometimes I listen to hip hop and there's all these random shitty quotes which are popping up into my head, but not like.
But then I have to ask Florian, if you say you listen to hip hop, do you listen to it for the lyrics or for the beats? Or of course probably for both. But what do you enjoy more?
It's gonna be the beats and I think it's an art how to rap on a certain beat, and some people really sound good doing that. And yeah. But for a quote right now, I'm sorry.
All good.
You got me there.
Yeah. Since you mentioned Dredge earlier on, that's one quote that always lives in my head, which I would put with like a little caveat behind, because it's from Catch Without Arms. It's like, let the demons have their place, if so it's angels you create.
Yeah.
Which I always found like really powerful, but at the moment I don't know if I want to have the demons let their places. So I always felt this more like about your inner struggles.
They are having their places at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, but I don't want to let them have the.
Yeah. We gotta fight them. Right?
So that's like the small asterisk there. You still have to pick which demons you will leave a place and which demons you will contest for their place.
Yeah, fight for it, right? Florian, when the nerd in me I can indirectly give you a quote for the hip hop head. Do you know what KRS-One stands for? Because that's the best acronym ever. The rapper from New York. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone.
That's nice. I don't even know the rapper. I mean, it's just something I listen to sometimes to, but
yeah. I also have a German one, but that if I ever get my arm tattooed, that would be my quote, and that is in German: Ich habe 1933 Gründe, schwarz zu sehen. In English, I got 1,933 reasons to see black, or the Nazis. Let's put it like that. I have one more question before we come to the infamous quickfire round at the end. And that is, on Spotify, you publish a list with songs that you like, and it's called Under the Influence. I will also put the link underneath this video. But I have to ask, who of you picked Carpet Crawlers by Genesis?
I guess that would be Jens. He's like the big 80s guy with us.
Well, that is 70s, but that's
70. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, I disqualified myself.
No, that's good. It's like that's from my one of those prog records from the 70s that I could always listen to, and I was like, wow, Carpet Crawlers, wow, okay. But that's already basically the introduction to the quickfire round. I will always give you two alternatives, and you have to choose. And maybe shortly explain your choice. I chose the singer of Genesis, the one singer. Phil Collins doesn't count. So I chose Peter Gabriel, and I would like to give you two songs by Gabriel that you could choose from. I hope that you know at least one of them. Games Without Frontiers or Biko? Oh, I see empty faces.
I have to pass. I'm sorry.
I know Games Without Frontiers, but not the other one.
You might have heard that. That is the song that he wrote about the South African anti-apartheid activist who was killed in his cell. And the name of the song is the name of the activist.
Okay, it definitely goes on my list to check out.
Yeah, it's BIKO. You also have Portishead on there. So I'll give you two of their records. The self-titled one or Dummy.
That would be Dummy for me.
Florian is thinking.
I'm not really familiar with this one as well.
Who do you have there in the band? The guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah,
Just
like
playing
I told
the
you,
drums.
I think it's really interesting that there's always
Yeah.
like this big merger of our interests and our tastes, but then it diverges really vastly
Very fastly,
within the
yeah.
band. Yeah, and that's like always something that I feel always is a really interesting moment for us to like get all these influences together, and like not something that we say like, who are you? Get out of my band! You don't know.
But then the question must be allowed: do you personally also listen to post rock in general or a lot?
Since I play in this band, yes, but before, not really. To be honest.
But it's totally fine.
No, but I'm really like I grew with the music and I really enjoy it these days. But before I became part of BRUECKEN, I was not really familiar with post rock songs. Like I said, I was always more of a metal guy, or like also like these days more hip hop or electronic music. I'm living in Berlin, and you have a huge variety of music here. So I'm really don't want to limit myself, and it's actually quite nice because there's so many good genres.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like Berlin. I always say if Berlin had a better educational policy, that would be a city that I would move to. But you know, as they don't give enough money into the school and into the school system. No, you know. Otherwise, that would be one to go there. Then I'll have something for the metalhead. We were talking about, that you took your time, the extra year or two. You didn't want to take too long. I'll give you the two bands that took this. Oh, we have enough time. Who maybe took that a little too far. Who had too much time between two records. I'll give you Tool versus Guns N' Roses.
Tool. I think.
Okay. No, Florian, you go first.
Yeah, I was really waiting for this album, so Tool is gonna be.
Would you say that it fulfilled what you were waiting for?
Unfortunately, not really. No.
Yeah.
I was hoping for more.
Me too. I mean, like, it has got Tempest, which is a great track, but otherwise, Fear Inoculum, no, it doesn't do it for me. Target, Tool or Guns N' Roses?
I really hate Guns N' Roses.
So it must be Tool.
It must be Tool.
It must be.
And also, like, all the not three, but like Anima to 10,000 Days is like legendary status. Fear Inoculum didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
But Guns N' Roses and all this, like, I think you maybe to bring it back to our band, I think maybe you notice also in our music, like, we're all not the guys for like big poses and like the big it's like more we all have like this punk spirit background. And I really hate like big guitar solos and stuff. I don't like it.
I mean, like, one never has a feeling while listening to BRUECKEN that there is any kind of ego in that music, which is very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I take that as a compliment. Yeah.
No, I also mean it as a compliment, because I very often think that if there is too much ego within a band, may it be one person, two persons, whatever, you hear that. And very, very often it is just not doing enough. I mean, like, unless you're Eddie Van Halen, who had an ego as big as the moon, but who also had enough stuff to prove that he can even have an ego like that. I think otherwise you just be music first and then the rest. But I understand that.
I totally agree. Like, there are always like always, like, to every good rule there are exceptions, but in general.
Yeah, right. Come on, let's stick with the metal thing for Florian. Soulfly versus Sepultura.
I've seen Sepultura
And
live,
there is
and I
only
really
one
liked
answer
it.
for that.
I know, but I think I'm since I just saw Sepultura live and I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna go for Sepultura.
Yeah, that is the correct answer. Because again, just like Torge said with Tool, there is a certain period in the time of Tool and also for the time with Sepultura where they just released masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece, and that's also why I would say Sepultura. Yeah, definitely. And I have to admit, even with the vocalist change, it were still great records. Maybe
Yes.
not as convincing as before, but still very, very good records. So as we are now in metal, let's maybe move a little bit into post-metal. I'm not sure whether Florian is familiar with them, but I think those are two very, very cool post-metal bands. One from England, Mountainscape, one from Belgium, Celestial Wolves. If you had to choose, which one would you rather listen to right now? Torge.
I actually haven't heard Mountainscape. Another item for my list, but Celestial Wolves are great.
Yeah. Florian?
Yeah, I don't know any of them. I will listen to both of them.
And then maybe the masters or one of the master bands in post-rock, Mogwai. And I very often use Mogwai as an example because I just simply love everything they did. But I will give you two of their earlier records. Come On Die Young versus Rock Action.
100% Rock Action. That's like my all-time favorite Mogwai record. It's like, yeah, two right makes one wrong. It's like a track to die for.
Well,
Or is it on that? Am I mistaken? Is it on the wrong? Oh.
That could be on Mr. Beast, but I'll look it up.
No.
But where is it?
That's like the seventh track. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's not my favorite track on that record is Dial Revenge. You know why?
Awesome, nice. Say.
If you go into, or if you 20 years ago went into a Welsh telephone booth and it had the English word dial, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Dial in Welsh means revenge. And who sings
nice.
the track? The singer from a Welsh band, Gruff Rice from Super Furry Animals.
Yeah, Mogwai always have also like great song titles, but like I once heard an interview with them that they like really come up with the most random stuff and have like a real huge book full of like random stuff that they talked about, and then have like, oh, that would be a great title, let's write it down.
Yeah.
And then they just roll. Yeah. But I love it. Yeah.
But they also have some really very, very interesting ones. So on one of the records, they have a track which is called Scotland's Shame. Mm-hmm. And I saw them on that tour, and when I saw them, I understood what they meant. All of a sudden, all of their amps were in white and green. And all of a sudden, I understood it, because for them, Scotland's Shame are the fans of the Glasgow Rangers, who during a European Cup final in Manchester demolished the town.
Oh, right.
That's why they're Scotland's Shame. But Florian, could you choose between Come On Die Young and Rock Action?
Not really, to be honest. I'm not really familiar. I know Mogwai. I know some songs, but I'm not my expertise.
No problem. So I will leave you with before I have the last couple. I will leave you with my favorite Mogwai quote, because they were interviewed for German TV and they were asked, like, okay, what is your goal as a band? And Stuart Braithwaite, just in his most wonderful accent, said, like, oh, we want to be louder than Manowar. That was it. Last couple. And here I like the pop aspect of the choice on your list. One of you chose the Cranberries.
Yeah, I think you consistently pick the songs that Jens picked, so maybe you should get another date with him.
Yeah. I will ask him for all of those. But is that something that you can enjoy, like real pop music? Because come on, let's be honest, Cranberries is well-made pop rock. But is that something that you can enjoy, both of you?
Definitely.
Yeah. I think pop music has like it becomes better to me. Like also there's a lot of shit during these days, but I feel like if you listen to the Global 50 or whatever, there are some good songs in it. I think it's yeah.
And there is more reggaeton on there than we think.
Yeah. I think for me it's also like a thing of not being well, let me phrase it otherwise. Like with time, when you start writing songs, when you start getting into music production and notice more and more like the details, what goes into these songs and what is, then you can appreciate a lot of it a lot more, that it's like just a very well written song, that it's like really well produced. And so definitely my my appreciation for just very good, well-made pop music has definitely grown over the last year, and it's something that we all more and more enjoy.
I mean, Linkin Park is pop music, isn't it?
What? Yeah, I mean, like, if we're honest,
yeah.
What is pop music? It's the stuff that is popular, that is making money at the time. And so, you know, Linkin Park, Nirvana. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. If you listen to Nevermind, it's basically pop music just with a little bit more distortion. Yeah, I can see that. For everybody out there, as I said, in a few days, in a couple of weeks, when after this is released, the guys will release their, I think, third full length. Is it correctly?
Yes.
Third, right? So Years That Answer. Please take your time, listen to it. For all our German audience, they will be on tour heavily in February and especially in March. Go see them. If you by incident go to Darmstadt, you might also see this face, so that might be a reason not to, but otherwise.
And also Hungary, Czech Republic and Austria, of course.
Ja. An unsere österreichischen Freunde da draußen, geht's hin und schaut's die Band an. Guys, thanks for all your time. See you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for letting us present the record or your tour. And hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, my friends.
Thank you for your time. It was really fun.
Thank you.